There, this is Amy. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you the top 3 strategies that I have to reduce the mom guilt. Do you ever feel like you've had a bucket of guilt dumped into you as a mother? I sure have. It's almost time to go, just putting the last finishing touches, packing the bag, walking down the stairs, and you just don't want to have another tantrum, so you want to sneak out of the door. And you can feel that buildup of emotion as you shut the door behind you. What are you doing? Do I really want to go? Should I go? And you go. Now, what if you didn't feel that way? What if leaving to go to work or a meeting didn't have all the guilt associated with it? What if there wasn't the trauma that you felt, the pain and emotion? What if it was exciting to leave, knowing that you'd be home soon to see your family? Would you do a little dance? Would you kick up your heels? Would you go knowing that it was a good thing? Which would you prefer? So these are the top 3 strategies that I have. I have 3 kids, 8, 7, and 3 years old. And so I have been running my own business for the last 9 years and all the while having children. And I can tell you, I absolutely can relate to having mom guilt in a huge, huge way. Friends of mine around me would absolutely agree with this. So for me, this has been a journey, and these strategies that I'm going to give you today are ones that I have used personally to help improve this situation greatly. But I can tell you, these steps make it easier, and the more that you use them, the easier it will get. But you have to start. So step number 1 that I highly recommend is being prepared for when you need to go out for your job, for business, when you need to leave the house and leave the children alone with their other parent or a caregiver or a babysitter. My idea is that you really plan some kind of diversion for them. So is it that you're going to get an old toy out of the basement? Is it that you are going to get out some recyclable materials? So it doesn't even need to cost you anything, but you get those things out and invite those people to make some kind of cool craft. They can paint it, they can color on it, they can make it into a car or a house or a spaceship or something, but they can use their creativity, and that can be a fun distraction for them. Perhaps you got some different library books from the library, or you have a special treat that they can have if that's something you do in your house. But my friends, the idea of having a distraction is very, very important in this process. Step number 2 that I highly recommend is that you have a plan to get out of the house. And this is discussed in advance with the caregiver that your children are going to be left with. So if your child is really young, the baby may not know that you're even leaving. You have a plan in place, obviously, for the caregiver to know how to take care of the baby. But if your children are a bit older, I found myself sneaking out of the door, or we make a plan for the children to go play upstairs with the parent or the caregiver. And this often, it works really, really well just to get me out of the door, because quite honestly, this is a big part of the challenge, right? We don't want to face the tears. We don't want to face the mommy don't go. We don't want to face the tantrum, because this doesn't make it easier for anyone at all. So in my opinion, this is the way that we have helped both myself and the children to have an easy transition into me not being in the house for that hour or 2 hours or whatever it may be. The next piece of the puzzle is to really understand that it's okay that you're leaving. I get it. The feeling of guilt is awful. You feel like you're going to puke your guts out. You feel like you want to bawl your eyes out. Your heart is outside of your body in this child or these children, and it's very, very hard to leave. I can totally relate to you. The key to know is that it's okay for them to miss you. It's okay for them to see what you do for them in their life. This is not a bad thing for them to realize all of what you do. And sometimes it takes being out of the house a little bit for them to appreciate how amazing you are and that you're there all the time for them. So I hope that helps you a little bit to think about the positive side of this, that this is good for your relationship. It's good for both of you. It's really good for you to get out of the house. The next piece of the strategy is really, for you, it's figuring out, is where you're going really where you want to be? If you're going to a job that you love, or you're going to a business event for your business that you love, and you love the people and you love the spirit of what you're going to be doing at that event, or perhaps what you're doing in your job, then it's much, much easier, in my opinion, to leave if you are excited about where you're going. But if there's a disconnect for you that you don't want to be at that place, that's something even deeper that I encourage you to really reflect on and reach out to get some support on figuring out if what you're doing is what you are meant to be doing, if there's another way for you to earn income, because there are so many other ways. And lastly, my third strategy, and probably the one that is the hardest, that I learned when I dropped my first child off at daycare, or I guess it was preschool that he went to for the very first time. The teacher looked me in the eye and she said, "Amy, just go." Just go. And it's the hardest thing you're ever going to do. It's the hardest thing you're ever going to do, especially for the first, 10 or so times. But you have to just go, because the only way to improve how you feel, how they feel, how this whole situation happens is for you to just go. And you will learn your strength. They will learn their strength as well. And it will be a win-win for everyone. But it requires you physically leaving. I just wanted to recap for you the 3 things that I covered in this video. Number 1, have a plan. That means perhaps gathering some resources, but make sure that that plan is communicated to the person who's going to be watching your child or children, so that you can make that exit more calm and easy for everyone. Step 2 is to really reflect on, is where you're going, the business meeting, the workplace, is where you're going someplace that fuels you? Is it a place that energizes you? Is it a place you really want to be? Because if it is, then let that be of service to you. Let that be the support guiding you out of the house and into the vehicle. I know that can be the hardest part, is that separation of your physical body from those little people. But let that be a support. And if you're not in a place that fuels you or energizes you, perhaps that's something to reflect on. There's so many ways to earn income nowadays, and there's many people that can support you in figuring that next step out. I'm one of those people, but this is really important, that if you're feeling tremendous pain and guilt and anxiety about leaving, really reflect on, is that a mom guilt? Or is that because you really don't want to be where you're going? And lastly, the last piece of the puzzle is just go. Because this is not going to improve with you staying put. It does take us going through challenge in order to grow. And this is part of this journey for us, unfortunately. So those are my 3 strategies. I hope that you found them useful. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Please click the link and subscribe, so that you can get the most up-to-date content that I'm going to be sharing with you. Some funny videos, some thoughtful videos, and some videos that I hope will touch your heart and help you see the greatness inside of you every single day. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.